I'm so happy and excited to be here moving with you today. Let's start in a seated position. You'll want something to use for a strap and maybe a couple blocks or rolled up towels nearby your regular props. But let's extend the right leg long, heels down, toes up, and we'll just point, tap the toes down and flex. Point and flex, point and flex, point and flex, point and flex. Next time your ankles flex, see if you can pull back and flex your ankle without pulling back on your toes. So be aware that these are two separate muscle actions and we want to try to separate them. At first, you can even keep your toes curled forward as you try to flex your ankle back. And if you get a little crampy in your foot, that's normal. How about with your ankle flexed here, trying to spread all your toes any amount away from each other? How about trying to push your big toe forward and pull your little toes back? And just do the best you can. If your toes won't move at all at first, that's why we're practicing. And then how about pushing your little toes forward and pulling your big toe back? And then one more time, spreading all your toes away from each other as wide as they'll go. And then let's bend the right knee and extend the left leg long. And point and flex, point and flex, point and flex, point and flex. Keep working on the flexion of the ankle, but then can you let the toes point straight up in the air or even curl them forward slightly as you gently pull the top of the foot back towards you, and then try to spread all your toes out here. And you just want to keep on working on them. Your feet, your hands, your mouth area, your private areas have the most sensory nerves in the body. And there's a reason for that, because these are the places that are most often interacting with the world around you, especially your feet, since they're interacting with every step you take. Let's try to point your big toe forward and your little toes back. And then switch. Big toe back, little toes forward. And then relax that and try to spread your toes out all again. So these areas become like maps for your brain. And truly, how well your feet function and how well your hands function, how well your nerves are participating and interacting with the brain is an indication of how well up the chain will be working for you as well. So from your feet to your knees to your hips, from your hands to your elbows and shoulders. And of course, the hips also affect the feet and the shoulders also impact the hands. But these are our starting places since we're interacting with the world around us most often with our hands and with our feet, or supposed to be with our feet, often though a lot of times the shoes we wear kind of act like cast. So that's why it's so good if you can be here and be safe, that you can practice barefoot more often. But let's go ahead and bend that knee. And then we'll talk about rib breathing. If you have your strap and you'd like to, tie it around your rib cage. Oh, and some of you might have noticed that I'm using this different chair that I've used in the past. I wasn't sure if this chair helps you see some things better than the darker chair as well. So you can let me know either in comments or in a contact message at the end of class. But if you're using a strap, tie it nice and snug right below your chest or right below the breast area and below your armpits, but quite a bit above your waist, right on the middle of your rib cage. And try to tie it pretty snug because it's going to give you feedback into your breathing. And then you're going to practice inhaling into the strap. First of all, pelvis upright, so top two bones over bottom, pubic bone, ribs relax down. Inhaling into the strap. And exhale and hug in away from the strap. And so I'd like you to just take some rib breaths here. And what you're trying to do is focus more on breathing into this area and less breathing high in your chest and less breathing in your belly. Not that the air won't go into those areas, but you're trying to get more air in this area. So more oxygen intake into where your lungs actually are. So inhaling and exhale, and you're feeling where the strap is to help you determine where you want to breathe. So keep taking some breaths like that while I talk to you for a minute about rib breathing. So we want to be able to expand out to the sides, the back, definitely, because there's a lot of space in the back where we're able to breathe, and the front. But we don't always focus on the front right away because a lot of people are pretty good at breathing into the front and often lack the mobility to breathe into the sides and the backs of the ribs. So focus on that area, focus on the back and the sides. But this is another way that you can look at rib breathing that I was thinking about that might be helpful to some people. So not only are you expanding out through the sides of the ribs and through the back of the body, but you can think of when you're taking in an inhale, what you want is you want to create the most space in your thoracic cavity. So where your lungs and your heart are, you want to create the most space. And your diaphragm that sits at the base of your thoracic cavity, when you inhale, that diaphragm goes down to create space. So you're trying to create space to bring your inhale in. Keep taking your rib breaths. And then when you exhale, the sides come in and contract, but also that diaphragm lifts up as you're pushing the breath out. So that's another way that you can imagine you're trying to create more space on the inhale to get more oxygen in. And then when you bring in all that oxygen and you start to exhale, that's when the rest of your body is taking the oxygen into your cells. So equally important, inhale and exhale. So think about that as well, is that your diaphragm is going down as you inhale and lifting up as you exhale, and not quite that much. So I'm just motioning my hand. That's not the exact measurement of how your diaphragm moves. All right, from here, let's go ahead and reach our arms out to our sides. Pelvis upright, ribs relaxed down, and circle your arms into the air and open them back out to the sides. And even while we're doing this, you can pay attention to breathing a little bit into your ribs. It might take some time, especially since that area is often tight, to feel the sensation of breathing into that area. Now, as I explained the diaphragm going down, maybe you can understand why so often I tell you, or ask you rather, to relax your belly. You're relaxing your belly because holding your lower belly tight, holding your lower belly in, sucking your lower belly in, stops you from taking full breaths. So it's a really bad idea to hold your lower belly tight because most people would agree that breathing is the most important function. All of your cells live off of oxygen, and your cells can't regenerate at a healthy rate if they're not receiving enough oxygen. So one of the last things you want to do is getting into the habit of holding your stomach tight, which is something that I did for many, many years because it's something that's often taught in the fitness world. Instead of holding your stomach tight, relax your belly, pelvis upright, ribs relaxed down. Those two positions of your pelvis and rib cage are going to build you all the healthy core strength you need. You do not need to hold your lower belly in. And in fact, when you hold your lower belly in, you're preventing your breath from happening in the way that it needs to. All right, so from here, let's lift our arms up into the air and keep a pretty wide V here. Palms face each other, or even pinky fingers turn in a little bit, and pelvis upright, ribs relaxed down. Turn your belly to the right and turn your belly to the left. And then just at your own pace, go side to side and really focus on the belly button moving side to side. So not only for breathing purposes do you want to get out of the habit of sucking in your lower belly, but also this is where dropping the ribs down and back becomes so important. And how many times have we been told that sitting up tall comes from lifting our chest up in the air? But lifting our chest up in the air and lifting our ribs forward tightens the back part of the body, and then therefore when we're breathing, we can't get as much breath into the back side. And this inability to get that breath into the back side of your body and really spread it out equally around your thoracic cavity is what causes most pressure issues in the body, or one of the root causes of pressure issues in the body. Okay, come to center, open your arms out. If your arms need a break, which is very common, we've had our arms in the air for a while now, just let them relax down, and then when you're ready, bring them back up. Let them be slightly forward of your shoulders, and then from here, let's drop our right ear to our right shoulder and take a rib breath there. Ribs down and back. Inhale into the sides of the ribs. Exhale, hug them in. Slowly bring your head up And slowly drop your left ear to your left shoulder. Inhale into the sides and the back of the ribs. Think of that diaphragm going down. And exhale, everything comes back up and in together. Bring your head up, one more each side. Rest your arms when you need to. Turn your head to the right and hold, chin parallel with the floor. Take a rib breath here, just at your own pace. Inhaling, feel the connection to the strap, or if you're not using the strap, just feeling into that area. And take your full exhale, which you may have already done, and then turn your head the other way. And take a full inhale and a full exhale here, breathing. And then bring your head back to center and release your arms down. All right, let's stretch your legs straight again here. Open your arms out to your sides, palms face forward, hands a little bit lower than your shoulders, and you'll wrap your right arm on top and then open up. And we'll do the right arm on top 3 more times. So right arm on top and open. Take your time, right arm on top, reach around and open. Right arm on top and open, and then this time we'll stay. Right arm on top, wiggle your fingers around a little more, drop your elbows down, and then slowly drop your chin down to the center of your chest. Relax your face, soften your jaw. And then slowly bring your head up and point your right foot and hold. And flex your right foot and hold. Then open your arms back up and we'll do left arm on top. Left arm on top, wrap around and open. A few more times like that. Left arm on top and open. And left arm on top without lifting the ribs and pushing the ribs forward when you open. And open, and this time we'll hold. Left arm on top, wrap it around, elbows drop down, drop your chin down to your chest. And then just turn your head a little bit side to side here, spreading out through the palms of your hands and fingers, breathing. And then bring your head back to center, lift your head up, point your left toes and hold. And flex your left ankle and hold. And then open your arms up, release your hands down, bend both of your knees, placing your ankles right underneath your knees. It's very common that when people sit, they tend to tuck their feet back. And not that this is not a great way to vary up the way you sit once in a while, but if you have a habit of doing this, it can create a lot of pressure on your knees over time. So walk your feet forward, and from here with your feet, ankles under your knees, you can either stay sitting upright or you can lean forward to put a little extra weight on your thighs, and then you're going to lift and lower your heels here. With the outer edges of the feet straight, you're trying not to let your ankles twist. So most commonly when people lift their feet up, the outer ankles push out to the side a little bit. You're pushing down equally through the balls of the feet and feeling your heels lift straight up and down. And just so you know, it's not that the ankles popping out to the side is not the same thing as the heels opening a little bit wider. So you might have to open your heels wider if they come in towards each other, but without your ankles pushing out to the side. And I have pretty good mobility there, so hopefully you could see that. And lift and lower, nice and slowly. Take your time. Feel the entire ball of your foot working. Feel your lower leg muscles working. And then next time your heels are lifted up, stay there, lift your torso up, keep the heels lifting, reach your right arm straight out to the side, and we're going to reach the arm out like you're drawing your arm bone out of the socket, and just see if you have a little space to draw your arm bone just straight back into the socket. And maybe you'll feel some muscles on your upper back engage and pull in. Reach out and extend. It might be a really small motion at first. Heels lifting, reach out and extend, or pull in, reach out and pull in, reach out, and pull in. Now release that arm, let your heels go down for a second, and then slowly lift them back up. Notice as your heels go up, do your thighs collapse in? Can you keep your thighs open and press equally through the balls of the feet? Lift your left, reach your left arm out, reach out, and hug in. Reach out, and hug in a little. Reach out, hug in, reach out, hug in. And if you can't feel any action under here, like under your armpit on the back side of your back, have your arm be a little bit lower. So if you're up here and you're reaching out and hugging in, you might not feel that area. So lower your arm just a little bit. And we're gonna do these in a moment, but I'm gonna be facing sideways. So it's gonna be the same thing, but we're gonna do them different heights. We're gonna do it from a little bit higher where we reach out and hug in, and then a little lower, and then a little lower, and then a little lower. So just so you know what we're doing, go ahead and put your heels down, but we're not gonna do that quite yet. First, you're gonna tuck the top of your right foot behind you. So putting down the top of your shoe or the top of your foot, and then with your arms by your side, turn your elbow pits forward. Your palms can be forward at first. Over time, you can let your thumbs be forward and pull your arms back and relax them forward. And get into a swinging motion here, again, without those ribs lifting up. So breastbone drops down, ribs drop back, and think of lifting behind you. That's where your work is, and trying to relax as much as you can as your arms swing forward. So they'll swing forward a little bit with momentum, but really try not to lift them in front of you. And you'll know because your arms will start going a little bit higher. So remember, when we work the muscle, the relaxation part is just as important. So you're working when you pull back, but then you're really trying to relax as you let the arms swing forward. And then let's bring our right foot out and tuck the top of our left foot right where shoelaces would be on a shoe underneath. If your foot cramps, just come out, let it rest, and then continue with those arm swings. Elbow pits forward. All of a sudden as you're swinging here, you might notice your elbows start to turn out to the side. Turn the elbow pit, the soft front part of the elbow, forward from the upper arms. And pull back and relax. So, if all day long you're taking breaths and your ribs are lifted, so therefore the back body is tight and it's unable to take in your breath, you start creating pressure issues in your core over time. And because you have a strong back body, your spine is back there, it's going to be hard to force the breath back there if you're lifting your ribs and pushing your back body forward. So where is the breath going to go? It's going to go up, it's going to go down, or it's going to go forward because there's not enough space for it to go back. Okay, let's relax our arms, bring that top foot forward, maybe wiggle your toes out a little bit. And then from here, let's spin around for our lunge. So spin around to the right, slide your knee back behind you. You can be on the top of the foot or tuck your toes under. I recommend you switch it up often. If you probably should do the one that is less comfortable, it shouldn't be painful, but you should probably do the one that's less comfortable more often. And a lot of us need a flexed ankle. Knee drops right under the hip. So now we're going to do those heights where we pull our arm bone in and extend it out. So let's start low and just draw your arm bone into the socket and reach out. Very small motion, nothing aggressive. Arm goes a little higher. Reach out and pull in. Arm goes a little higher. Reach out and draw in. Arm goes a little higher. Reach out and draw in. And then let that arm come down, slide the leg forward, spin around to the other side. So slide your knee back, knee underneath the hip, heel behind the knee. And just in case, if you have a chair with arms on it, I've been using chairs with arms on this new class that I'm teaching outside, and you can still spin around into a lunge in it. It's just you have a little bit less space for your buttocks. So don't feel discouraged if you have that chair. You can still try to do the lunges. Of course, it does make it much easier if you have a chair without arms on it. Okay, with your arm low by your side, your palm facing forward, feel like you're drawing your arm bone into the socket and reaching it out a little bit higher. Draw it in and reach out a little bit higher. Draw it in and reach out a little bit higher. Draw it in and reach out, and then let that arm come down by your side and slide your leg forward and spin back around to the front of the chair, and then walk your feet nice and wide with the outer edges of your feet straight. And let's do some pelvic tilts here. You can tighten your strap if you still want to work with that, or you can take it off now, but your pelvis rotates backwards, so you're more towards your tailbone. The top of your pelvis is way behind the bottom front of your pelvis. And then you're rotating your pelvis forward, trying to bring the top half right over the bottom, and go back and forth. But if your pelvis doesn't move very easily, it's common to let the spine do the work. So you're trying to keep your ribs down and just really move your pelvis forward and back. Breathing here. It's a little bit different with the legs wide. You get a little bit more pull on the inner thighs. So keep in mind that sitting up tall comes from the pelvis. So if you feel that you're slouching, the first thing you want to do is adjust your pelvis, not lift your rib cage up. Because if you lift your rib cage up, then you're going to, over time, have a less optimal breathing pattern. So pelvis upright, ribs relax down. And then from here, let's reach behind you to the chair and try to keep your pelvis upright and just lift your ribs where we don't want them to be and drop them down. Not that this is an emotion that we want to have. We do. We want to be able to lift our chest up and push our ribs forward. It feels nice sometimes, but we don't want to get a habit of holding ourselves there. That is not good posture. That is not good alignment. So we might have been taught that it's good posture, but alignment is more focused on what is optimal for the function of the body, not necessarily how it looks. So ribs up and ribs relax down and back. Let's do that 2 more times. Ribs up and ribs relax down and back. Ribs up, ribs relax down and back. Okay, pelvis upright, ribs relax down and back. Take a side bend with your right arm going up and over. And we did this last week. I like this one a lot. So you're going to lean over to your left, not come out of your torso lean. Keep the torso lean. Just your right arm is going to open up and go over. And open. And go over. And open. And over. And open. And over. And then pull yourself up. Now take your left arm, and anytime, especially if you're new, sitting with your legs like this can be like, wow, after a while, you can really feel it in your inner thighs. So just don't spread your legs so wide. Or maybe things start to open up and you feel less sensation and you can open your legs a little bit wider. Stay leaning over to the right, and now it's just the left arm that opens without the torso coming up. And over. And open. And over. And open, and over, and open, and over. And then pull yourself up. Think pelvis upright, ribs relax down. Now we're going to do this with the arm. Your right arm, do it with me, or your left arm first, goes across in front and open to the side. Let's do it one more time with the right arm. Right arm is going to go across in front and open to the side. But we're going to do it all from a twist. So with your pelvis upright, your ribs relax down, turn your belly button to the right, hold there, and now we're just going to do the left arm. The left arm opens to the side and reaches across. Hold in the twist. Left arm opens and reaches across. Left arm opens and reaches across. Left arm open and reaches across, and then spin yourself open, and we'll do the other side. Adjust the legs as necessary. Turn the belly button towards the left leg. Now it's just the right arm. Right arm opens and goes across the body. It's low height, low chest level. Right arm opens and goes across in front of you. Right arm opens and goes across in front, and arm opens and goes across in front. And then open that arm up, release your hand down, walk your feet in 1 step at a time, and then let's stretch our legs straight again. Take your right arm up and over into a side bend. Bring your arm slightly forward, rotate your arm bone so your palm faces more behind you, and then tap your shoulder and extend. Tap and extend, leaning to the left. Tap and extend, tap and hold. Try to think of your elbow lifting up as your front ribs drop down, and then bring your torso back upright. And if your elbow's popping out to the side, let's wrap the elbow in. You might have to bring it a little bit lower and open it out to the side. Elbow wraps in and open. Elbow hugs in and open. Elbow hugs in. Now this last one, go really slow, like really slowly open your elbow. Notice where you feel the most tension, and then really slowly wrap it in. And hopefully you found a spot where you found tension and just stay there and try to lift your elbow a little higher. So it can be any rotation. And for a lot of people, that rotation where you feel the most tension is going to be forward. Like the elbow won't even really go forward. But for me today, it's a little bit out to my side here. All right, extend your arm, bring your hand down, legs are straight, ankles flexed, toes in the air. Take your left arm up and over, hold the side bend, twist your left arm so your hand faces behind you. It's easier if you bring your arm slightly forward, then tap and extend. Tap and extend. Tap, extend, tap, extend. Now tap, hold. Think of elbow going up as ribs drop down as you bring your torso up, and then open and close. Open and close. Open and close. Open and close. Now go really slow this time. Find your point of tension. You might be feeling anywhere from your rib cage up through your armpit into your tricep, and go really slowly in. And if you found the spot, stay there. I'm going to stay right there and hold and breathe. So let's go back to the rib breathing. If our ribs are pushed forward and we're unable to take our breath equally into our thoracic cavity, again, there'll start to be more pressure up, down, and forward. This can cause lots of issues. This is one of the root causes of hernias, depending on where your hernia is. There's a pressure issue in your body and it starts pushing things around. Pelvic floor issues, if the path of least resistance is down. Prostate issues, if the path of least resistance is down. Diastasis recti, if the path of least resistance is forward, and that's where your body chooses to go, forward. And up, if you're breathing up all the time, that can cause a lot of stress issues, not feeling well mentally a lot of the time, carrying a lot of extra shoulder and neck tension. So you can see how important this cue of learning to relax your ribs down and back is. Reach your arm up, lower it down, bring your arms by your side with your elbow pits forward, and let's just do one big shoulder roll. Forward, up, back, and down. And then from here, we'll go back, up, forward, and down. And then drop your chin down to your chest. Relax the back of your neck. Try to feel like your chin is right at the center of your chest. And then bring your head up nice and slowly. Rebend your knees. And we're going to go back to that wide V-sit with the outer edges of your feet straight and your thighs open. Now we're going to do some wraps behind the back. I'm going to turn around so it's easier for you to see what we're doing. And again, you don't have to have your strap on this whole time. So if it's starting to fall off, you can tighten it. But I definitely always have some students that like to keep it on and practice breathing into that area the whole time. Just make sure it's in the right spot. All right, reach your right arm out to the right. Turn your thumb down, and then pelvis upright, ribs relax down. Wrap the arm any amount behind your back. If the elbow doesn't go in all the way, then you'll want to start with your hand lower. If it comes in all the way, you can start to put your arm at different angles over time. From there, reach around with your left hand. See if you can feel the bony edge of your right shoulder blade popping out. And if you can you draw your arm bone and your shoulder blade forward to stretch out some of those muscles? So this feels counterintuitive, almost like, why am I hunching my shoulder forward? But it's actually the tension in those muscles that is one of the things that keeps us hunching over time. So we're trying to stretch them out. And then from here, you can either keep your hand as is or try to flip your hand over on your back. And it only goes one way, and it might not go at first. And you're just trying to break up the tension from your shoulder to your hand. Breathing here. How about with your shoulder blade spreading wide, your hand either flipped over or not, you slowly drop your left ear toward your left shoulder. Relax your lower belly. Hard habit to break if you've been taught over and over to hold your lower stomach in. And bring your head up and unflip if you're flipped. Reach your arm out, lower it down. Reach your left arm out to the side. Turn your thumb down to the floor and wrap it behind your back. Walk it in as close as you comfortably can behind your back. And then from there, think of reaching around with your right hand, and if your hand doesn't reach, then you just have to do the best you can. You're trying to flatten out that shoulder blade from the top all the way to the bottom. Reach that shoulder forward, and then maybe you stay here, maybe your hand flips over on your back. You might notice one side's a lot different than the other. Breathing here, and then maybe drop your right ear slowly over to your right shoulder. Try to spread out a little bit through your fingers. Touch more of the parts of the palm of the hand to your back. And it's perfectly okay to work without flipping your hand over for weeks or months, because sometimes we don't do this that often. And then bring your head up, unwind your hand, reach your arm out, lower your hand down, and I'll spin around and we'll continue. Okay, always nice to wrap sometimes. All right, from here, let's spin around for another lunge. Let's go first to our left this time. Slide the knee back right under the hip, front ribs relax down, and then you can hinge back and come forward. Now, if when you hinge back, your ribs go up, one thing is you're preventing yourself from breathing all through your thoracic cavity, but second is you're also kind of compressing your lower back. So think of your ribs staying down and back as you hinge back a little bit. And you might feel a deepening of a pull on the front of your thigh and your hip, and come forward. Hinge back, ribs stay down, and forward. Hinge back, and forward. And then slide that knee forward, spin around to the other side, slide the knee back, knee falls right underneath the hip, ribs relax down, and you lean back a little and come forward. Hinge back and forward. Hinge back and forward, and hinge back and forward. Now slide that leg forward, spin back around. Let's do another lunge. So go back over to the left. Here's where you might want your strap, or if you're new to the lunge, just drop your ribs down, and you probably already feel a nice stretch here. You probably don't have to lift your foot up off the floor, but you can also create a lasso with your strap, a loop, and as you lift your foot up, go slow, because it's not uncommon that the back of the leg will cramp. Wrap it around your ankle, slide your knee back, ribs relax down, and lift up any amount from low to the ground to high up. And remember, this class is all about changing the range of motion. So end range of motion is never our goal. We're trying to mix it up all the time. Breathing. Now, while you're here, turn your foot in towards your chair. So it's like you're rotating your thigh bone, and so your foot goes closer to your chair. And then unwind, release, and spin around to the other side. So from here, from your lunge, you can stay here. By the way, if you're not going to wrap the strap around, you can just turn your foot closer to your chair. So similar benefit. Bring your foot out, wrapping the strap around your ankle, flex your ankle, thigh bone goes back right under the knee. You can lift any amount. One side might be different than the other. Notice if you're rocking back in the pelvis, try to push your pelvis upright, ribs relax down. Breathing here. And then rotate that lower leg towards your chair a little bit, and still draw the thigh bone back. Okay, bring the leg back, release the foot, spin back around to the front of the chair, and then from here, sitting up tall, hold onto the back of the chair, ribs go up, ribs drop down and back without the pelvis tilting back. So keep the pelvis upright, ribs down, just slide the ears back a little and drop your right ear to your right shoulder. Ribs stay relaxed down, slowly bring your head up, ears slide back, left ear to left shoulder. And come back up, and then lift your ribs up. And with pelvis stays upright, just drop the ribs down and back. Slide your head back. It's common when you first drop the ribs down, the head goes forward a lot. It's showing you the tension in the neck and the shoulders. And then with your head back and your ribs down, turn and look over your right shoulder, breathing. Maybe take a rib breath here. Turn and look over your left shoulder, breathing. Maybe take a rib breath here. And then bring your head back to center and release your arms. And then with your feet hip distance apart, hinge forward here for just a moment. Let your spine drop down. Press into your feet, hands to come up. And now grab a block or whatever you're using for a block. An upside down little bathroom trash can works. Put the block in front of your right foot and put your heel up and your heel down, toes up in the air. Now, the more that your pelvis rotates back, the harder it is to keep it upright. The harder it's going to be to keep it upright when your foot is up higher. So if you're using a block, you might want to start at the lowest height or the medium height and then work your way up to the highest height where you can keep your pelvis all the way upright. And then from there, rotate forward. Now, if you don't have a block, you can absolutely do this with your foot on the floor, just flexing your ankle and hinging forward from your hips a little and trying to let your leg be as straight as possible. And we're just going to stay at each angle for a breath or two. Then you're going to come up and you're going to take your foot off and you're going to keep the block where it is and reach your left foot over to the block. And if you have to move it over a little, heel down, toes up. And then from there, straighten the leg and rotate the pelvis forward any amount. And you're slightly pulling on a different part of the back of the leg. More of the outside. And slowly come up and release. Now take the block a little bit out to the right. Put your heel up there and hinge forward straight through the center of your pelvis. And you'll often feel it go a little bit more up your inner hamstring. Try to let the leg be all the way straight and relaxed with the ankle flexed. And come back up and bend that knee, ankles under the knees, outer edges of feet straight. Put the block a little bit outside your left foot. Put the heel down on the block, the toes in the air, and rotate forward from your pelvis there. And then slowly come up, and last but not least, put the block right in front of your left foot with your knees in line with your hips. Extend your leg up and rotate forward from the pelvis there. Good, and then come back up and bend your knee, and you can stick whatever you're using to the side, and then from there with your ankles hip distance apart, try not to scoot your feet back. If you have to, try to scoot them back less. Lean forward and try to come up with as little momentum as possible. You barely lift your hips up, you push them back, and you press up to stand, and then come around to the back of your chair. Okay, from the back of your chair, hands on either side, walk back. Outer edges of feet straight, ankles hip distance apart, which is the two bones that stick out the top front of your pelvis. Push your hips back. We're going to go between bent and straight legs. Nice and long spine. If you feel like your spine is really rounding, two things. One is just try to drop it down a little. Two is put your hands on something higher, or just don't fold down so far. But you're going to bend your knees and stick your buttocks back and then push your thigh bones gently back. Bend your knees. Try not to let them go past the front of the ankles. Really stick your hips back and straighten your legs back. 2 more like that. Bend the knees and straighten back, and bend the knees and straighten back, and then slowly press into your heels and come up. So we have pressure issues that we create in the body by holding our ribs up, by thinking we're standing up tall when really the ribs belong back and down. And when you first drop them back and down, what happens? You notice all the tension in your neck and shoulders. So that starts to be able to be corrected once the ribs are down. The second place that we create pressure issues is with our pelvis, by standing with our pelvis pushed forward. So just go forward and back a few times. Your weight goes into the front and the middle of your foot, and then you back up all the way until your hip, the center of your knee, and your buttocks is in line. And it's farther back than most people think. And at first when you do this, when you back up all the way, you'll feel like you're going to fall, or you'll really feel the front of your legs clench, because essentially they're saying, hey, where are you going? I'm used to supporting you, and now you're trying to get the back of your leg muscles to do more of the work. So, and this is where we want to be. We want to get our weight back and learn to relax the front of our thighs. Good. And notice if when you back up, your toes lift up. Try to relax the front of your feet. Okay, so let's do a few more of those hip shifts from a calf stretch. So grab whatever you're going to use for your calf stretch. Put the ball of one foot up, your heel down on the floor, outer edges of feet straight, ankles hip distance. You can step your outside foot forward a little bit unless you feel like you lean forward a lot. Then don't step that outside foot quite so forward. And we'll go forward and back here. So a couple of things I want you to be aware of is, one is, oh yeah, I do tend to hold my weight forward. Can I learn to back up more often? And 2 is, when you first back up, if your hips do this, over time you're trying to keep your thigh bone back, but re-tilt your pelvis into neutral. And sometimes it's the tension in the front of the hip that won't allow this, but you're doing the best you can to keep your pelvis in neutral as you go forward and back with your thigh bones. Let's switch legs. Put the ball of your left foot up, your heel down on the floor. You can use a rolled up towel, of course. Maybe you step that outside foot forward, relax your lower belly. And then from there, you're moving your hips forward and back. And at first, you don't have to pay so much attention to the pelvis, because at first you're just working, are my feet straight? Are my ankles hip distance? Can I back my thigh bones up? And if that means your pelvis, if you hinge forward, that's okay. But over time, when you back your hips up, you're seeing, can I keep my hips back over my heel and still have my pelvis in a vertical plane? Breathing here. Okay, let's make it a little more challenging. You can hold on to the side of a chair if you want to, but now we're going to push down through our right leg, hug the hip in, and let our left foot float into the air. I'm going to do it from a side view, but I'm still standing on one leg. Now can you move your hip forward and back your thigh bone up on one leg? And oftentimes when people go back, that's when they have the tendency to fall, because we're trying to make the back of the leg stronger over time. All right, put that foot down, feet straight, ankles hip distance. Push down through your opposite hip, hug it in, your foot flexes, and then you're moving your hip back and forward. And at first you can use your hands on a chair. And even for a while, I still practice using a chair all the time because it helps me work my muscles in a more precise way. And see if you can feel the difference. See if you can feel the load in the front of the thigh and then back up and using more of the back of the leg and the buttocks. And the whole time you've got to push that standing leg hip down to keep your other foot just barely off the floor. All right, from here, outer edges of feet straight, ankles hip distance, push down through the right hip, tuck the top of the left foot behind you. If your foot cramps, just come out. At first, if the foot is not very mobile, it's hard to get off the toes and get more to the top of the foot. That's your goal. If it's hard for you to get there, that's your goal. For some people, they start out with maybe have tension in their foot and their lower leg and their ankle becomes hypermobile. If that's you, it's very easy for you probably to get back to the top of your foot. And so for you, vary it up. Sometimes come to your toes and just work more towards your toes and try to get on different areas of the back of the foot or the top of the foot. And let's switch. Feet straight, ankles hip distance apart. Push down through your left hip. If it tends to pop out, hug it in. Tuck the top of the toes or try to get back a little further onto the top of the foot. And it's almost like you're trying to roll the top of your foot down towards the floor. But check, where's your hip? Did you push your pubic bone forward or are you backing up and the weight is in the heel of your standing leg? All right, release the top of the foot. Come on back to the back of your chair. This is so different for me than my other chair because this chair is so much lower. So it's good to switch up your chair because then you get your body to work in different ways. But with the outer edges of your feet straight, ankles hip distance, sit back into a chair pose and press up. And this is one way to help yourself back up with straight legs is really go back when you're with bent knees. Try not to let those knees go forward. And press up. Sit back and press into the heels and sit back, press into the heels. Sit back, hold, step your right leg back into a lunge, center the ball of your foot, and then reach your right arm forward, a little out to the side if your chair is going to be in the way, palm up, swing that arm back, and this time you are going to purposely lift it up into the air. Swing back and lift up. Two more like that. Swing back and lift up, swing back and lift up. Hand comes down, push off the ball of the back foot to step up. Outer edges of feet straight, sit back in your hips, step your left leg back into a lunge. Try to center the ball of the foot. Reach the left hand forward, palm up. Swing back and lift up. Swing back and lift up. Two more. Swing back and lift up. Swing back and lift up. Hand comes to the chair. Push off the ball of the back foot to step up. Feet straight, ankles hip distance. Sit back into a chair pose. How about reaching your right leg out to the right a little bit as you sit your hips back? Your right leg is straight. Press up. Take that right foot centered right in front of you. Sit back, bending your left knee. Come up. Take that right foot in front of your left foot. Bend your knee, sit your hips back, and press up. Bring that foot back. From here, step your left foot a little bit out to the left and in front of your right foot. Bend your right knee and sit your hips back. Press up. Bring that left foot straight in front of your left hip. Bend your right knee and sit your hips back. And press up. Bring your left foot over in front of your right foot and sit your hip straight back. One knee is bent, one leg is straight. And come up. Feet straight, ankles hip distance. Sit back into a chair pose. Let's do your left leg first this time. Step your left leg back. And then from here, you're just trying to roll off the ball of your foot. Roll off and bend your back knee a little and straighten. There's no motion in the front leg. The front knee stays stacked right over the ankle. It's really a foot motion in many ways. You're rolling off and bending the knee and straighten. Roll off, bend the back knee a little and straighten all the way. Roll back, bend the back knee a little, straighten all the way. Push off the ball of the back foot, sit back into a chair pose, step your right leg back. You're centered on the ball of your foot. And then it's really a foot motion. Roll off, bend the knee a little, and reach that leg back. Roll off, bend the knee a little, straighten back. Heel goes higher as you bend the knee, and straighten back. Heel goes higher as you bend the knee, and straighten back. Push into the heel of the front foot, the ball of your back foot, to come up. And then step your feet nice and wide as you comfortably can. And think of the whole time you're here is my weight back in my heels and my ribs relax down. Turn your right toes out to the right. Bend the knee, not going past the ankle, and then reach the right arm out to the side and reach it out and hug it in. Reach it out and hug it in. Good. Lower the right hand, straighten the right leg, turn the right toes in, spin the left toes out, outer edge of the foot straight, bend into the knee. The right toes are still pointing straight ahead. Watch the knee if it caves in. Open it so it's right over the ankle. Reach the left arm out, hug it in, and reach it out. Hug it in, and reach it out. Good. Slowly straighten your left leg, turn your toes in, turn your right toes out, bend the knee right over the ankle. So if the knee's going past the ankle, you have to do two things. You have to walk your stance a little wider or don't bend your knee so much. Flip your right palm up and reach up and over into a side bend. And then bring your hand down, straighten your leg, turn your right toes in, turn your left toes out, bend into the knee right over the ankle, reach your arm out, and go up and over into a side bend with your left arm. And then bring that hand down, straighten your left leg, turn your toes in, turn your right toes out. This time we're going to keep both legs straight. Reach your right arm out, go up and over into a side bend. Now bring your hand to your shoulder and hug it in towards you. Breathing. Now come up, open your arms out, tip over towards your right leg, flip your left hand to face behind you and wrap it behind your back. Remember what we did earlier? And just try to get it in as close to your back as you can. And then re-extend that arm and pull yourself up. Turn your right toes in, turn your left toes out. Right toes are still facing forward. Now keep both legs straight and lift your left arm into the air. Bend, tap, and lean back a little, hugging that elbow to the air, but the ribs relax down. Is your pubic bone going back? Steady your pubic bone. Ground your weight into your heels. And then keep both legs straight. Come up, open your arms, and tip over without bending either knee. Then flip your right hand behind you and wrap it behind your back, any amount. Breathing here. And then extend that arm up, pull yourself up. We're going to do one more each side. Turn your right toes out, bend your right knee. Now you can bring your hand down to your leg, reach that left arm into the air, rotate, wrap the arm behind your back, and then how about flipping your hand over here? Now you can use your hand on your right leg to make sure it doesn't collapse in. And then re-extend that arm, pull yourself up, turn your right toes in, turn your left toes out, bend into the knee, hold onto your thigh. You can use it to hold your thigh open, reach your top arm into the air, rotate it behind you, wrap it behind your back without pushing the ribs forward. Maybe the hand flips over on your back. Remember, it will only go one way. And then unwind that arm. Press into your foot to come in, parallel your feet, and then heel toe your feet back in to hip distance apart. Bring your hands to the chair, walk back 2 straight arms and straight legs, and now you're going to watch your elbows. They like to pop out to the side. You're going to hug them in so they point towards the floor and bend them. The weight goes forward and straighten them, but without them popping out to the side. Keep hugging them in. And you can do anywhere from a little bend to a big bend. Bend and straighten. Bend and straighten. And bend and straighten. And then from there, keep your weight back in your heels. Push from your buttocks into your heels to come all the way up to stand. Okay, let's do one more standing thing before we sit down and wrap things up. Here's where a block comes in handy. Anything you can step up onto. So a little garbage can is going to be too high. A foam block is, I'll be right back in the picture. A foam block is okay, but this is going to make it more challenging. A sturdy cork block or a sturdy book, or after you watch and you just kind of go along with me here, you can, if you have stairs in your home, this is really what this is all about. Stairs in your home and how you go up and down your stairs. So We'll start with whatever you're using. If you have a step aerobic step, anything you can step onto that just has a little bit of height. You put your foot up on there. Make sure your heel's on. It's okay if your toes are off. So if you have a long foot, heel on, toes off. And then what we're going to do is a pelvic lift. So you push down and come up, and you're trying to push down through one hip so much that your other foot gets a little bit higher. This is the strength that you need in your outer hips to walk well, to prevent shuffling in the long run. So that's the end range of motion, where you push down, and if your hip tends to go out to the side, you push it down and hug it in to get your floating leg to come a little bit higher. And your whole time you're keeping your weight back in your heels. So wonderful if you have a chair, or you can do this standing next to a wall, which is even nicer because then you don't have to reach over to a chair. But what I want you to pay attention to is as you're stepping up, what happens to your knee? And whatever happens to your knee is the muscle pattern in your foot, your ankle, your knee, your hip. And for a lot of people, when they step up, their knee goes in. And that can create a lot of musculoskeletal issues in the long run. So I want you to try to keep your knee open right over your ankle as you push down and hug your hip in to step up. And then go back down. And when you go back down, also notice, does the knee cave in? You're keeping your knee open right over your ankle and pushing down through your outer hip to step up. And think of this every time you go up and down the stairs. First off, try not to let your knee go past your ankle. Second, is your knee going in? And this is kind of what you want to do when you're going up the stairs. You want your knee open, and you want to eventually straighten your leg to use your outer hips before you step up to the next step with your next foot, and then do it on the other side. So knee open. So lift off the ball of the back foot. That's going to help you. Lift off the ball of the back foot. Press up, keep that knee open, trying to push down and lower down. Switch legs. So, whatever height you have, make sure your heel's on the block, the outer edge of your foot is straight, and you're using your back foot to lift off. Same thing you want to do when you're going up and down stairs. Use your back foot as you bend your knee. If it collapses in, keep it open as you push down and hug your hip in. And step back. Knee stays open, lift off the back foot, then you're thinking of these muscles participating to lift you up. And step back. Knee open, lift off the back foot, keep it open as you press up, and step back, and one more. Knee open, lift off the back heel, push down like you're going straight up and down, not leaning forward, and lower back down. Okay, we'll practice that again soon, but two things to be aware of when you're going up and down the stairs, have a seat in your chair, is one, is my knee going way past my ankle? Two, is my knee collapsing in or out? And then three, are you really using your outer hip muscles to lift yourself up to the next step? Practice. Stairs are a great practice. Going up and down a hill, even better practice. From here, pelvis upright, ribs relax down, reach your right arm up and over, and take a rib breath here. Let's do the other side. Left arm up and over, ribs relax down. Think of breathing right around your rib cage. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And then bring that hand down. All right, pelvis upright, ribs relax down. Everything we do, twist your belly to the right and hold. Everything we do here is one, we keep practicing, pelvis upright, ribs relax down, elbow pits forward. Where's the position of my feet, my knees? We're coming into a place that uses the muscle around the joints more equally. But as you learn today, and often if you've been taking these classes, is it impacts a lot more than your musculoskeletal system. It impacts every breath you take. It impacts your organs. It impacts the pressure systems within your body. So everything we're doing is trying to get more into this alignment so that we learn to move freely in all ways with a stable base. Unwind and turn your belly button in the other direction. Pelvis upright, ribs relax down. But everything we're doing is also helping us get back to neutral. So for most people, even people who think they're in neutral, like I thought when I first started practicing, it's helping us. All the stretches we're doing are helping it, making it easier to sit with our pelvis upright, making it easier to drop our ribs down. And you might think, oh, my ribs are dropping down. And then all of a sudden, after 6 months of exercising your shoulders and your upper back and your chest in all the ways you do, you might feel like, oh, I just felt my ribs drop down, maybe for the first time. Or I had someone recently tell me, which I mentioned last week, which is just beautiful, for the first time, she was breathing into her ribs, she actually felt the motion of her intercostal muscles. And it's a process, and it's a slow process, but it's not as slow as all the years it took us to create these imbalances. It's really not. And that is so exciting to me. And one of the reasons I'm so enthusiastic about it, because I know that we can really be empowered and fix a lot of the things we have going on in our body. Unwind. From there, stretch your legs nice and straight, heel down, toes up. Take a soft, relaxing forward fold. Relax the back of your neck. You know, we're human beings. Things are always going to happen. We might always have things go wrong or right or whatnot. But even if we can avoid some of those issues and spend more time just creating and living in love and peace and feeling good, what a great thing to work towards. And then slowly come up and sit all the way back in your chair and let your gaze soften or your eyes gently close. And because we moved for quite a while today, we're not going to stay here for quite as long. But tune in to your body, tune in to your breath. This is where you really help your nervous system. Oh, going back to neutral, dropping the ribs down. I can finally take more free breaths. Your nervous system really appreciates that. Stay present with your body and with your breath. Today, I am fortunate to have woken up. I am alive. I have a precious human life. I am not going to waste it. I am going to use all my energies to develop myself, to expand my heart out to others, to practice compassion for the benefit of all beings. I am going to have kind thoughts towards others. I am not going to let myself get consumed in angry or harmful thoughts. I am going to benefit myself and others as much as I can. Bringing your hands together at heart center in gratitude for this day. Namaste. So please keep in mind that if you ever want a longer savasana, which is so good for you and your nervous system, there is one class so far in the rest section of the class library. That's a 15-minute guided body scan, and I'll be adding more classes in there as time goes on. So have a wonderful rest of your week, and watch how you get up from the chair.